While you were watching football or scrolling TikTok this weekend, Benjamin Netanyahu sat in a room with American influencers and told them that social media is his most important weapon. And now they're using it to sell you a war that's killed over 20,000 children with your taxpayer dollars. The Israeli prime minister didn't whisper this in private. He said it directly on camera. He recruited approximately 15 American content creators at the Israeli Consulate in New York and gave them an explicit instruction on conducting information warfare against you. Yes, you, the person mindlessly double tapping through your feed thinking you're getting an authentic content creation experience. Among those taking notes in that room were podcasters, TikTokers, former Miss Israel, Noah Kovasha, Andy Cohen, and Eric Adams, fresh off exiting the New York City mayoral race after becoming the first sitting New York City mayor to be indicted on federal charges. Now that Adams has all the free time in the world, he can focus on what he genuinely excels at most, police state theatrics, and apparently attending influencer foreign government propaganda sessions. The clips I'm going to show you today from this meeting are nuts, and the content creators that are putting out content after this is even more disturbing. But the strategy isn't new. We've watched governments perfect this playbook before. Saudi Arabia pioneered this exact strategy, spending billions to rebrand itself through American entertainers and social media personalities under its Vision 2030 economic diversification plan. The kingdom has invested heavily in entertainment, culture, and sports, all designed to distract from its brutal human rights record. The 2019 MDL Beast Festival in Riyadh brought Armie Hammer, Ryan Philippine, Sophia Richie, and Ed Westwick on all expense-paid trips. Many received six-figure sums to post promotional content. This came just 1 year after Saudi agents assassinated Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi and dismembered his body. But these influencers posted glamorous desert photos while the kingdom imprisoned women's rights activists and executed descendants for social media posts. Model and author Emily Ratajkowski was offered similar money. She publicly declined, citing ethical concerns. The contrast couldn't be more clear. Some people have a price and others have principles. By 2024, influencers were posting TikTok videos glamorizing life in Neom cities, industrial apartments, a futuristic megacity project built on land seized from displaced local tribes. The videos were widely mocked for depicting bleak living conditions while pretending to showcase luxury, and most failed to disclose that they were paid for these promotions. Keep this strategy in mind because Netanyahu takes it even further, and he does so on camera. The 2025 Riyadh Comedy Festival announced a lineup including Kevin Hart, Aziz Ansari, and Dave Chappelle. The backlash was immediate. Other comedians publicly criticized or declined participation, pointing to Saudi's role in 9/11, its imprisonment of its descendants, and its restrictions on free speech. Okasha revealed that the offer included explicit censorship rules. Comedians would be performing in a country that sentences people to death for social media posts while being told what they couldn't say on stage. And the playbook didn't stop there. That pattern repeats across every case. These governments repress free speech while paying Americans to speak on their behalf. They imprison activists while celebrities post vacation content. They murder and dismember journalists while influencers collect six-figure checks to ignore it. Saudi Arabia demonstrated that American influencers could be rented to whitewash virtually anything, any atrocity, if the price was right. Netanyahu watched, learned, and refined that approach. Let's take a look at this clip here.
Christian influencers. Okay. You said, we talked about the woke right, and you said, I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant observation. The woke Reich, because these people, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane. They're the reason. But they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community, they're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. You know, the weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well, okay? And you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, you know, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are in social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is class TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. That's very good. And, you know, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now. We have to fight the fight, okay? To give direction to the Jewish people and give direction to our non-Jewish friends or those who could be our our friends. Are we going to succeed with everyone? No. Will there be a strong counterpoint? Yes.
The Israeli prime minister just admitted his government is actively combating U.S. public opinion with paid influencer ops. Let's break this down. Before I show you the outputs from this meeting, Netanyahu says chillingly that this is about securing our base of support, meaning making sure American taxpayers keep funding war without asking any questions. Social media is the most important weapon for shaping public opinion. Netanyahu said this as a direct quote, using influencers for foreign interference. He didn't invite these influencers to witness the conditions in Gaza or speak with Palestinian families. He instructed them on how to conduct information warfare on American platforms. Meanwhile, 20,000 children are dead. And you're supposed to believe that the Instagram reels are about peace and complexity. He is deploying social media influencers like they are a military tactic, because in this case, they are. If a non-allied country said this on tape, Congress would be holding hearings before the video even finished buffering. Netanyahu went even further, identifying the potential TikTok deal shifting U.S. operations to an American consortium as the most important purchase going on right now. He's not just using social media as a tool. He wants to control the platform itself to ensure his message dominates your feed without any competition. Netanyahu described social media as a weapon to advance Israel's political objectives. He discusses deploying influencers to fight back against criticism. He names TikTok as the most important purchase going on right now. Netanyahu isn't even hiding his strategy. This is all out in the open, captured by creators on his team within hours. Within hours, the propaganda machine was activated. Take a look at this clip posted on Saturday on TikTok.
Imagine supporting people who start wars just to lose the wars so they can cry about it and then try it all again.
You must see anti-Semites are literally obsessed with Jews. Now walk with me. While you must see anti-Semites are stacking eviction notices, Jews are out here stacking up businesses.
Jews control all the industries. Maybe if you spent more time taking notes from successful people, you wouldn't have to spend your nights and weekends spreading hate from your anonymous account with an anime profile picture.
Do you work as hard as Jews? Do you network like Jews? No, because you're too busy cheering on a group of musty terrorists who smell like dirty earring backs. And if we're gonna keep it real, you're really mad because your income is giving side hustle.
Period.
How you gonna hate from outside, Shabbat? You can't even get in!
This clip shows Xavier Del Russo and Emily Austin. Emily Austin, one of the influencers who attended Netanyahu's coordination sessions, continuing to produce content that dismisses the brutality of the Israeli military occupation in Gaza and makes it about class wars, delivering foreign government talking points through platforms where you follow them for entertainment, lifestyle content, or comedy, while simultaneously making claims that being critical of the Israeli Defense Forces or the Israeli government policies regarding military operations is anti-Semitic. Legitimate criticism of government's military actions, policies, or conduct in war is a standard part of political discourse, and it's applied to all nations and is not inherently anti-Semitic. In fact, many Jewish individuals and organizations themselves are extremely critical of IDF's actions or the Israeli government policies, and rightfully so. Of course, what happened on October 7th was horrible. And what's been happening in Gaza since is also horrible. Two things can be true. NPR reported yesterday that over 66,000 Palestinians have been killed. More than 20,000 of them children. More children have died in Gaza than in all other global conflicts combined during the same period. Entire family lines are erased. Hospitals have been bombed, schools destroyed, refugee camps targeted, infrastructure completely demolished. And I need to remind you that the reason we are critical of Israel is because, unlike Hamas, every bomb, every missile, every act of destruction is funded by our American taxpayer dollars. And people often lean on the counter argument that Hamas is a terrorist organization and they've done terrible things, which, yes, is true. And so they will ask you, why don't you criticize Hamas the same way you do with the same intensity? Because we don't fund Hamas. We don't send Hamas $3.8 billion in annual military aid. We don't provide Hamas with the weapons used to commit these atrocities. We fund Israel's military operations. We fund this genocide. This makes every American taxpayer complicit in the death of those 20,000 children. Consider what else that money could accomplish. When I talk about defunding the police, it's because we could be reimagining public safety. We could be investing in universal pre-K for every American child as a public good, or affordable housing programs, or mental health services, infrastructure repair, healthcare expansion. Medical debt and student debt should not exist, but they do, because instead of funding communities, we fund the purchase of weapons that kill children while influencers get paid to make you comfortable with that reality. Netanyahu's weekend meetings included specific instructions about targeting Christians who began questioning unconditional U.S. support for Israel. He labeled them as woke right, and called them insane for challenging evangelical support for Israel. A foreign head of state coached American content creators on how to attack American citizens for their religious and political beliefs, with none other than New York City's disgraced former mayor sitting right there nodding along. These influencers likely violated the Foreign Agents Registration Act, which requires individuals representing foreign governments' interests to register and disclose their activities. FARA exists specifically to prevent foreign governments from secretly influencing American public opinion through undisclosed agents. None of the influencers who attended Netanyahu's weekend meetings have registered as foreign agents. None faced investigation. None face consequences. The Saudi influencers face similar criticism for failing to disclose paid relationships with a foreign government. The pattern is clear. Enforcement is non-existent when it comes to influencers serving as unregistered foreign agents, regardless of which government is paying them. Dr. James Patterson, who researches state propaganda at MIT, explains when foreign governments can purchase American voices to legitimize mass violence without disclosure requirements, we've lost the ability to have honest public discourse about our role in internal conflicts. The audience believes they're consuming authentic content when they're actually consuming foreign propaganda. Over 20,000 children are dead, and American influencers are being deployed to normalize it, justify it, make you stop questioning where your tax dollars are going and whose children they kill. The infrastructure of trust that these influencers build over months and years becomes the delivery system for foreign government propaganda. When your favorite content creator casually defends military operations between makeup tutorials or comedy sketches or Air One smoothies, you're consuming manufactured content designed in a foreign consulate and delivered through someone you trust. Netanyahu calls social media his most important weapon because he understands something Saudi government figured out years ago. Controlling information is more effective than controlling territory. If he can make Americans accept the death of 20,000 children as justifiable or necessary or unavoidable through influencers you follow and trust, he's won. Emily Austin is just one of the many known invisible faces of this operation, but they're far from alone. Dozens of influencers attended these coordinated meetings. Dozens more will be recruited. The propaganda infrastructure expands. Enforcement agencies are refusing to act. The next time an influencer defends Israel's military operations in polished and suspiciously well-informed language, understand what you're witnessing. A foreign government's propaganda delivered through a trusted source, designed to make you complicit in the deaths of thousands of children. Netanyahu told them social media is his weapon. Those 20,000 dead children are the casualties of that information warfare. And your tax dollars paid for every single one of those deaths, while influencers collected checks to make you stop caring. And if you've enjoyed this video, or if it's shifted or expanded your perspective, I'm going to ask you to take a moment to subscribe, because while governments use American platforms and American influencers to manufacture consent for violence funded by the American taxpayers, I'll be here with rapid response to it all and receipts, documenting what other folks might not report on.